Good morning, welcome. I'm Tiffany. Thank you for joining me. We come and sit in Sukhasana, so go ahead and find that easy seated pose that feels best for you, whether it's using a block to sit on, 2 blocks to place underneath the knees if you're feeling a lot of tightness in the hips. Some of us may feel like our practice has changed. Sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's for the worse. If you find you're seated a lot more throughout the days because of being home. And so just allowing your body to kind of explore this time of where you're at in your practice and letting go of where you think it should be and just being in this moment. Each time we're on our mats, our bodies are going to move and flow differently. So just honor and respect how the body's going to move today. So as we come into this Sukhasana, for some of us, we cross or stagger the heels. Others, we move to the mid shins, but keep your feet out underneath you in order to activate those hips. Or you can move deeper to the mid shins, and some of you really feel those hips activate. If you're not able to relax, I encourage you to lessen the intensity of the hip activation in the beginning. We'll work the hips throughout the entire class. Then go ahead and imagine a string is attached to the top of your head and pull yourself up to the sky, lengthening that spine. And once you do that, go ahead and rest your hands on your knees, whether you want to take the thumb and index finger to touch or you just want your hands to relax, it is up to you. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. Now we've turned off that external stimuli. We can draw the awareness in. Notice, are you tipping forward of your hips? And if so, can you bring your shoulders back over the hips to sit tall? You may even feel your belly draw in a little tighter to help you sit taller. Let your shoulders soften into your back pockets. Feel your sit bones anchoring you to the mat. And the breath, feel it move through the nose. Just allowing yourself to find this sense of peace and ease. And today I'm going to ask you to think of one thing that is positive that has come from this stay home order. And you may be thinking of many different things, but I want you to think of one specific thing. And what feelings does that positive thing come from? Is it happiness? Is it joy? Dig a little deeper. Is it contentment? And then I want you to start to breathe deeper, still with that thing, that one thing that brings positivity. For me, I get to go on bike rides every day with my daughters. So something we haven't been able to do in a long time. So imagine all those things around what you chose. And I want your inhale to be I am, and your exhale to be the emotion that you're feeling. So inhale, I am. Exhale could be happy. Inhale, I am. Exhale can be joyful. So keep the same word. And take these deep breaths 5 more times. Inhale the thought, I am. Exhale that feeling or emotion. Inhale, I am. Exhale and let it travel through every cell into your body. One more time. Keep this deep breath going. You can keep that mantra going. Or exhale and tip your right ear towards the shoulder. Take a nice long stretch this side of the neck. Head is heavy, shoulders soft. Then slowly turn your chin towards your knee to stretch across the neck. Deep breaths, feel the chest rise and fall. Are you still sitting tall, or are you becoming that professional sloucher? I need you to lift your heart to the sky. Inhale the head back to center. Exhale, tip the left ear towards the shoulder. Imagine your thoughts and to-do list just draining from your ear, allowing this next hour to become yours. Let it be this stress-free, problem-free zone. On your next exhale, turn your chin towards your knee. Sometimes it's what I'm doing, not what I'm saying. My brain and body sometimes disconnect. It's okay. I'm not here to be perfect. You shouldn't either. We're here for this practice. Inhale to bring the head center. Exhale, release the chin to the chest. Are you still sitting tall? One more deep breath here. And as you inhale to raise your chin, you can keep your eyes closed still. Exhale, change that lead leg so we bring balance into Sukhasana, this easy seated. See how this feels with the hips and knees and make any adjustments. Then let's inhale, circle the arms up to the sky, gather all that positive energy, and exhale, push it down through the body. Inhale, circle to rise. Exhale, down and through. One more time. Inhale, circle to rise. Exhale, bring the hands to rest at the heart center. And feel free to let the chin release to the chest. Any time in this practice where you are feeling, I can't, my body doesn't, I want you to go back to that mantra, I am, and whatever you filled in. Use those positive emotions or feelings for when you hit that I can't, my body doesn't. It is not about that. We are on a journey where we're students of our bodies. And we allow this time to build in strength, balance, and flexibility. But be positive with yourself. Let's take that sound of Om. Inhale nice and deep. Om. If the eyes are closed, gently blink them open, and let's all raise the gaze. So as we sit up nice and tall, I want you to extend your legs out. Now you're welcome to turn sideways on your mat. If your mat is vertical and facing towards the camera, that's great. But I'm going to extend my legs out here so I'm facing you. So from here, I want you to keep your back nice and tall. Inhale, rise to the sky. And exhale, hinge forward towards your toes. Draw your fingers like you're drawing lines in the sand. And then inhale, circle up. Exhale, hinge from the hips forward. Inhale, rise. Knees can be bent as you do this. Sometimes we're really tight in the beginning of class. So bend those knees. Inhale, rise. Exhale, tip. One more time. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, tip forward and hold. Pull your heart to your toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly rise up. And what I want you to do is bend your knees and move your bottom forward so it's halfway between your feet and your hands. I'm going to turn sideways for this one so you can see. Otherwise, stay right here. So as I turn sideways, we're going to lean into our hands. Inhale, lift an inch off the floor and come back down. Let's do that again, just an inch. Inhale, lift an inch, come back down. Now halfway between the knees and the mat. So inhale, halfway up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, lower. Which one feels better, an inch or halfway? Because now we're going to take our hips up in line with our knees, and you don't have to go that high. Here we go. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. One more time at this pace. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Now we're going to take this 2 more times for a count of 5. So if you decide at any time it's too much pressure into your wrists or your shoulders, maybe you need to be lower in the pose. It is not about me. Do what feels best for you. So inhale, lift. Is it an inch, halfway, or all the way? And look to the sky. Hold 5, 4. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your hips if you're there. And slowly come back down. I don't always count to 1 because a lot of times we're waiting for it and we start to give up our power before we get to 1. So I want you to fire through that power all the way to the end. Let's do this one more time. Ready? Inhale, rise up, hold, 5, open your chest, press into your feet and hands. My count of 5 may last longer than what you're counting. And let's come on down. Good, go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. And I want you to hold your ankles sitting up nice and tall. So notice we took one pose and we had 3 different movements for it in that reverse table. You'll find that throughout the class. I want you to find what works for you. So go ahead and circle around on those sit bones. One more time in this direction. And then change directions. One more time around. And come back to center. So I want you to draw your knees up and move your feet forward just a little bit. So we need that room to tip back. And I'm going to show that tip back in a second so you can stay facing me. But when we tip back to do our core work, we're going to tip off those sit bones and feel that if you were to relax your abs, you're going to drop down to the floor. We don't want to do that. For some of you, you're going to hold your hamstrings. For others, you're going to tip back into your hands, depending if you're pregnant or protecting a back. So let's inhale, open our arms nice and wide, and exhale, tip off those sit bones. Heels stay glued to the floor. Inhale, rise up. Try to keep your legs together. Exhale, tip back. Inhale, lift. If you're one who your knees keep opening up, then grab your block and place the block between the legs. Exhale, tip back. Inhale, lift. 2 more times. We're going to add a twist to this. If you're pregnant or protecting a back and you're not twisting, you can stay right here. Otherwise, exhale, bring that left arm across to the right. Inhale, back to center. Over to the other side. Exhale, right arm over to left. Inhale, center. So tip back with a twist. Again, if you're pregnant or protecting a back, you can always take the arm across, then maybe a hand to support you or hold the hamstring. Maybe twisting is not for you today. Let's keep going. Twist and center. Exhale, inhale. You'll always hear me cue the breath throughout our practice. It is important. Our breath is just as important as any of these poses we are going to do. I want you to continue this one more time to each side. Last one. Now come back to center. Hold those hamstrings and prep for your Navasana pose, your boat pose. Tip off those sit bones just like that core work. Lift your feet but flex them. Then reach towards those heels. Lift the chest. Ardha Navasana. Tip back and press the heels up. You don't have to go here. 5, 2, 1. Bring it in and release. Let's go ahead and make our way into table pose. Come to all fours. So however you want to get into your table, facing in the same direction as me. Let's go ahead and open our hands up shoulder width apart and our knees open hip width apart. As you take cat and cow, when you round your back, I want you to turn your toes under. When you arch your back, I want you to press the tops of your feet back into the mat. Push into your hands, push into your shins when you're in that arching of the back. Here we go. Exhale, round the back into cat, toes tuck under. Inhale, arch the back into cow, feet release, press into shins and hands. Exhale, round, push into those toes. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Continue to move with your breath, gripping the mat. So we're not trying to press our hands flat into the mat. I want you to feel like you're palming a basketball or there's suction cups on your fingertips. This may bring a little more ease to your wrists. And let's go one more time. Exhale, round. Inhale, arching. Come back into that neutral spine of table. Take a moment here and walk your arms out in front. So as we walk our arms out, I want you to stay here. Just pushing into the mat and then pull your elbows towards each other. Fire up those arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the elbows, lower the forehead. Then press into the palms, lift the elbows, lift your chest, and walk the hands back into the body. Take a pause here, and I invite you to sit in child's pose, sending your hips back towards your heels. Whether your forehead releases to the mat or your hips release to your heels, it does not matter. Some of us may still be up higher, some of us may be down. But I want you to push into your hands if you're down by your heels and press your hips a little heavier towards those heels. And again, let your head and neck relax. Walk those arms out nice and long from here, Utthita Balasana, extended child's pose. Then inhale forward to kneeling plank, bring your chest over your thumbs. As you turn your toes under, I want you to lower into this half crocodile and press back up. We're setting up for 8-point press. So if you're not going to bring your chest and chin to the mat, you can turn your toes under and do this half crocodile. Exhale, bend elbows into ribs, inhale up. Notice when I bend, I'm not swinging my elbows out like chicken wings. My elbows are in, and as we bend, we graze those ribs and press back up. Now let's go into 8-point press. As you bend the elbows, bring your chest and chin to the mat. Hips are up in the air. Inhale, press back up. And one more time. Exhale, lower chest and chin. Now, release your toes, release your hips, and stay here. If you are pregnant or protecting a back, I want you to come back up to all fours, and you're going to do spinal balance. The rest of us, we are down here with our hands under our chest or our shoulders. And I want you to inhale, baby cobra. Remember, snakes don't have hands, so as our cobra lifts, it's got to be back straight. Exhale, lower back down. Forehead or chin on the mat. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, rise. Hold, squeeze shoulders, squeeze glutes, lift the legs, and reach back for Shalabhasana, locust pose. 5, 4, 3, you got this. 2, belly into spine, and let's release, turn the head to one side. Inhale, nice and deep. Open, let it out. Take your hands under your shoulders, press up into that kneeling plank. Turn those toes under. Float and meet me in down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So take a pause here, feel free to pedal those heels, stretching deeper into those Achilles and calves. Maybe you're keeping both knees bent, maybe the legs are straight, it does not matter, but find what works for you. And then push strong between the thumb and index finger. Then let's bend our knees and look to thumbs, step forward to those hands into forward fold. Nice long stretch to the back of the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten the back. Exhale, fold. As you lift halfway, press your fingers into your shins. Pull your chest away from the tailbone. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to the sun. Exhale, hands down to the heart center. Take a pause here. As we move through our flow, we take this one breath, one move. What I want you to understand is it's not about what I can do. It is about what feels best in your body today. I'm outside. It's a little chillier this morning, so my body is going to feel a little tighter. So know that you're not trying to emulate me. You're trying to find where the body needs to go for you to build your strength, balance, and flexibility. So let's start our flow. Inhale, rise to the sky. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers to shins, flatten the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees, send your right knee back to kneeling lunge, but look forward. Lengthen your spine. On an exhale, release into kneeling plank. Send that left knee back, chest over thumbs. Exhale, float back to child's pose, hips towards heels. Inhale forward to kneeling plank, but turn those toes under so you can go into 8-point press. Exhale, chest and chin to the mat. Remember, you can do half crocodile instead. Inhale, cobra, unlock toes, scoop your heart through so your hips go down, elbows bend. Exhale, back to child's pose. Inhale, step your right foot forward. See where it lands. If it's behind your hands, grab it. Bring that foot forward so you can come into this nice deep lunge. Try to keep your knee over ankle. Then exhale, step into fold. Inhale, rise up to the sky. Look to those hands. Exhale into the heart. Inhale, rise to the sun. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers to shins, flatten back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend knees for kneeling lunge and send that left knee back and look forward. Nice big stretch. Release into kneeling plank, right knee back, chest over thumb. Exhale to child's pose, hips towards heels. Inhale forward to kneeling plank, setting up for that 8-point press. Turn your toes under. We have 6 points touching already. So let's exhale so our chest and chin make 8. Inhale, scoop through, release toes, scoop through to cobra, elbows bent. Exhale back to child's pose. Inhale, step that left foot forward. Help that foot so the knee and ankle can restack. And then exhale into fold. Inhale, rise to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, rise to the sun. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. As you bend those knees, send the right knee back or foot back to lunge, but I want you to look forward. Then step into plank or kneeling. Come into down dog or child's pose. So you got to decide where you're going to take it, but then we're all going to come forward into kneeling plank, and then we lower, exhaling into that 8-point press. Inhale, scoop through, up dog or cobra. Exhale, hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Inhale, the right foot forward to lunge or kneeling. Look forward, lengthen the body. Exhale, step into fold. Inhale, rise to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, rise to the sun. Exhale, fold to the earth. Halfway lift, then fold. Send your left foot back to lunge or kneeling. Take it nice and long. Step into plank or kneeling. Come into down dog or child's pose. Then float forward into kneeling plank to set up for 8-point press. Exhale, come down onto your chest and chin. Inhale, scoop up dog or cobra. Exhale, hinge back, down dog or child's pose. We're going to float our left foot forward. Help that foot for lunge or kneeling. So look forward, lengthen the body. Step into fold. Reverse to rise. Hands into heart. Ready to do this one more time each side? It's about you. Doesn't have to be kneeling. You can mix and match some of these poses. So let's rise to the sun. Fold to the earth. Halfway lift and fold. Send your right foot back to lunge or kneeling. Look forward to lengthen the body. Step the left foot or knee back to plank or kneeling. Come into down dog or child's pose. Floating forward to kneeling plank and exhaling to 8-point press. Scooping the heart to the sun, up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. Our right foot will float forward to lunge or kneeling, and we're going to look forward to lengthen the body. Step into fold. Rise to the sky. Hands to heart. Last round, reach up. Then fold. Halfway lift. Then fold. Send the left foot or knee back. Lunge or kneeling. Right foot back to plank or kneeling. Come into down dog or child's pose. Forward to plank or kneeling. Lower to that 8-point press. Scoop through up dog or cobra. Hinge back, down dog or child's pose. That left foot is going to float forward to lunge or kneeling. Nice long extension. And our right foot steps in as we fold. Rise to the sky. Hands into heart. Take a pause here. Inhale nice and deep. Open, let it out. One more time. As you stand tall, open your hands outside your hips. So we're coming into Tadasana, standing nice and tall. And as we make our way into standing airplane, it's an upside down L. We're going to keep our hands outside of our hips when we come back into this pose. So I want you to inhale, rise up, and exhale, stopping at the hips in this upside down L. So pull your chest forward. So some of us are sitting into our heels. And what I want you to do is draw the weight over your arches, stacking hips to ankles. But are you curling your toes to anchor? If so, press into the balls of the feet. Find your power there. Belly draws in, shoulders pulling away from the ears, fingertips reaching back and outside those hips. And as we float into chair pose, let's sit the hips back and down. Bring the arms forward. Notice, are you arching your back like you would in cow pose? If so, try to take the tailbone down, sitting into the heels for this one. As we bring our hands to our hips, let's float into warrior two, stepping that right foot back, left foot back, opening hips and shoulders, extend the arms out here. And as we hold the arms out, I want you to try and see if that knee is stacked over ankle. It is okay to turn your head and look. Then check your hips. Bring your hands to your hips. If they're sassy, take that left hip under the body, but reach nice and long. And let's do a little bit of arm work here. So let's tap the shoulders and tap the ribs. Shoulders, ribs, shoulders, ribs. We have 4 more sets just like this. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Send the arms out nice and long, and let's move into Trikonasana triangle. As you straighten the leg, stretch your ribs over the thigh. Hold the stretch first. Feel your feet rooting you into the earth before you release a hand to the thigh or the shin or maybe a block. But what I want you to do is make sure you're pressing into that big toe mound to activate the arch of your foot. If you're trying to pull forward to get to the floor, let that go. Stay stacked like you're between 2 panes of glass. I want you to inhale, slight bend in the knee for this standing archer. So bend it and then rise up. Take your left hip under the body. Inhale, lift your toes, hold the right wrist, and stretch over to the left. You gotta pull this left hip under and curl your right toes to the sky. As you make your way into this half kung fu lunge, release your hands to the thigh, pivot your right foot on an angle, turn your left toes up to the sun. Hold here. Some of you are gonna stay up high, some of you are gonna bring your hands to the earth. But then what I want you to do is shift this over to the left foot. So left foot on an angle, right toes are up. Now you can either be up on your thigh or down on the earth, but let's go back and forth. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, hold. So if you're up high or down low, I want you to walk over to that right foot into a low lunge and then sweep into 3-legged dog. Bring that right leg up to the sky. Holding here, hips and shoulders are aiming to the earth. Then I want you to flex your right foot and peel your hip open. Keep the legs straight. And as you come forward to plank, bring this right knee over to your left elbow. Come across. Straighten the leg, push the heel up to the sky, open the hip. Come back across, right knee to left elbow. Press back up. This can be done in table. So as you come across, your left knee can be on the floor and you straighten back out. So it's not about what you can't, what can you do? Come across one more time and open back up. Now, prep work for fallen triangle. The first one, bring your knee across, lower it down. Flip your left heel to the floor and pick your left arm up. It is not a side plank. Your knee is across the mat on the left side. Now bring the hand down. Come back into that hip opener with the legs straight. Now for those of you that want the full version, come across. Either put your knee down or kick your foot outside your hand. Release the heel, open up. Pull your right hip away from the floor. Grip the mat with your right hand. Release and step into down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a moment here. Then inhale forward to plank. Exhale crocodile. Scoop up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Float your right foot towards your hands and walk to the center of your mat into straddle fold. Let the head hang. Inhale, rise up. And from here, I want you to release your hands to your hips and heel toe your feet underneath your hips. Now anchor into your right leg. And since I'm facing you, I'm going to mirror you. So inhale into that right leg, bring that left leg up. Open the knee out to the side and bring that foot to the inner thigh. So we come into Vrikshasana tree pose and we bring our hands to the heart. Lift your heart to the sky. Then I want you to interlace your fingers. Take your arms up to the sun. Some of you will stay right here, trying to pull your fingers apart like they're glued together. Others, take your fingertips behind your head and press back into your hands. Try not to grip your toes to the floor. As you come back up tall, bring the arms back up. Imagine they're glued together. Pull your shoulders down and away from each other. My tree's having a windy day. And then release. As your foot comes down, turn to the left side of your mat. Standing nice and tall. This time, you can either leave your hands outside your hips when we go into standing airplane. You can interlace the fingers. You can hold the opposite elbow, or you can knuckle bump at your low back. It is up to you on what you decide. But let's inhale, rise. And on that exhale, halfway. So stop halfway in that upside down airplane pose. Now our hands can reach out. They can interlace. You can rest your thumbs on your tailbone and bend your elbows to the sky. But where's the weight? If it's back in your heels, I want you to take it over your arches. Find what works for you. Let's inhale to sit in chair. Hips come back and down. Weight is in the heels. And some of you, let's take balancing chair. Pull the heels off the mat. Stay low in your chair. Then when you release the heels, hands to hips, let's float into warrior two. Send that right foot back. Turn the hips and shoulders to the long edge of your mat. With your hands on your hips, notice, are they sassy? Look at your knee. Is it open, aiming to your toes? Then reach out nice and long. And again, we can take that shoulder work. Shoulders, ribs, shoulders, ribs. Keep bending into the knees. Sometimes we get so focused on what our arms are doing, we forget we're in warrior two. Shoulders, ribs. We have 3 more sets. And 2. Last one. Reach out nice and long and set up for triangle, Trikonasana. Straighten the leg. First, find your stretch. Squeeze your inner thighs like you're holding a beach ball. Stay in the stretch first. Is your bottom sticking out behind you, or can you push your pelvic forward? Then we can release our hand to our thigh, our shin, the earth, or a block. But I want you to spin the left side of your heart open to the sky. Where do you want to take your gaze? Up to the sky, straight ahead, or down to your big toe? Now let's prep for that standing archer. Take a little bend to the knee and rise up. Straighten the legs, tuck the right hip under. As you lift your left toes, grab the left wrist, and exhale, stretch away from that left foot. Opening the right side of the heart to the sky. And let's come into half skandasana. Come over to that thigh, turn the toes up. So your left foot is on an angle, your right toes aim to the sun. Now take it over to the right. Same thing, foot is on an angle, toes are up to the sky. Go over to the left. Some of you, your hands will come to the ground. Float over to the right. So whether you're up on your thigh or down, let's take this 2 more times. Over to the left, stretch that inner thigh. Over to the right. Hips are getting in there too. You can even use your elbow to kind of press that knee open. Other side. This time, over to the left. Wherever you're at, walk into a low lunge. And then step into 3-legged dog. So with your left leg up in the air, make sure your hips and shoulders are squared to the mat. Then flex your left foot, keep it straight, and open that left hip up. Legs stay straight. Now you can do this in table. Remember, we still have our hip open, and we're going to bring that left knee over to the right elbow. So here we go. Come across. Rise up. Straighten the leg, push through the heel, open that hip, come across. Hip opener, push through the heel. Come across. Open up. One more time. Come across. Now we do prep work for that fallen triangle. Come across, hold, lower the knee down on the right side of the mat, then pick the right arm up. Feel your hip pulling away from the floor. Now bring the hand down. One more time like this. Come back into that hip opener. And this time come across and either set your knee down or kick your foot outside the hand. Not to the middle of the mat. That's a different pose. Outside your hand. Then rise up. If you're saying, I can't do that, then you should be here. You probably can do this one. Come into plank and either stay here or power vinyasa. Lower to crocodile. Lift up dog. Hinge back. Hold down dog. Step your left foot to your hands. Come into straddle fold. Take a pause and straddle. And then rise up to the sky. As our hands come to our hips, heel toe the hips, feet, underneath the body, anchor in to your right leg. Pick your left leg up, tree pose. Wherever the foot goes, inner thigh, calf, toe to the floor, heel to the ankle, it is up to you. Open your chest. Again, same thing with the arms. Notice what's happening in your supporting leg. Draw the left kneecap up the thigh. Feel like this leg is a flagpole. It's solid for you. And then we can bring the hands to the heart, interlace the fingers. All right, that's your natural way of interlacing. Now switch it so it's awkward interlace. And it's okay. Your brain may be going, ah! So bring the hands up to the sky. As you open the palms, imagine you're trying to pull the fingers apart and your shoulders are pulling down. Some of you will take the hands behind the head and tip back. Come back up tall. Bring the arms up again, pulling those fingers apart. Then release the hands to the hips. Release the right foot down. And then turn to the top of your mat and step nice and tall. So let's heel toe our feet together. And from here, make our way into chair pose. We're going to sit the hips back and down, and then bring the hands to the heart. As you hold here, take the right elbow to the left thigh into twisting chair. Now look at your knees. If the right knee is pulling forward, you are twisting with your hips. Knees are even, and then we twist. If you're pregnant or protecting a back, you're going to stay in chair pose. Can you find a little more power by anchoring into your right foot and kicking your left heel back? Releasing into warrior one, rise up. So the left foot is back, the right knee is forward and bent. As you inhale your hands to the heart, pivot that back heel to the sky so you're in a lunge. If you have to wiggle that foot back, go ahead. And let's do twisting prayer. Again, pregnant or protecting a back, stay here. The rest of us bring that left elbow towards the right thigh and press and twist. Release the hands to the earth. Sweep into three-legged dog. Inhale forward, bring the knee to the nose. Rise up, come into warrior lunge. Bring that right foot forward, left knee down. So just like we did in the beginning where we wanted our hips pressing forward and we're looking straight ahead. So if you're back in 90-90 for your pose, bring this right foot forward, caterpillar walk it, and then shift your hips. If you need your blocks, you have vertical, horizontal, or flat. So what level of blocks do you need? As we let the hips go heavy, make sure your knee is not going past your toes. So your knee and ankle are more in alignment. And then from here, I want you to press your hands into your thighs for some of you and tip up to the sky. Then bring your arms up to the sky. As your hands come down to the earth, kick your left big toe across the mat and rise up, straightening the leg. Curl your toes up. From here, can you release your left hand down and then point the toe and arch back. Find your core power to pull yourself up, windmill over the leg, and give a nice stretch here. Now notice your foot is still across the mat. I want you to pull your right hip towards the left heel. As you shift your weight forward, heel toe that right foot to the edge of your mat. Place your hands inside. We're making our way into our yogi squat or malasana. Pick that left knee up and bring that foot outside the hand. So in half skandasana, I had you come onto your forearms onto your thighs, your hands onto your thighs. So you can come back here for this pose or drop down low. Chest is lifted. Some of you may even take a block and sit on it, right? But use your elbows to open your knees. Get deep into those hips. Whatever feels best for you. And if you can from here, if you're up high, you're going to have to make your way down onto your mat for boat pose. So we come on down and we grab the ankles and we hold here. And some of you will stay right here. Some of you will release. But others, I want you to grab onto your big toe mounds and take yourself into straddle. So as you extend the legs, you can stay or open up into this straddle boat. But notice I'm tipping back. I don't want us to do that. I want you to pull your chest forward and balance on those sit bones. Lift your heart to the sun. Soften the shoulders. If you are thinking, I can't, my body doesn't, let that go. You can do here. We did this in the beginning of class. So we were right here or even here. So what can you do? When you're ready to release, meet me in plank pose, however you want to get there. And either stay in plank or lower to crocodile. Lift up dog, hinge back, hold down dog. Float your right foot up and make your way into straddle fold. Hold the straddle. And then as you rise to the sky, I want you to release your hands and heel toe the feet back underneath your hips. Again, we're going to anchor into that right leg, but this time I want you to do Garudasana, eagle pose. So first let's sit in chair. Then peel the left heel off the mat. Some of you may stay right here and just step your foot across. That may be as far as you go. The rest of you, I need you to step your thigh or float your thigh over the right. And either leave your big toe on the floor and let it float or wrap. And then we bring the right elbow under left. Hug shoulders or wrap hands. Sink deeper into that left right heel. And then those of you that want to bow forward, bow forward. In my head, I'm thinking some of you may want to go into lightning bolt. So if you want to release, unhook the leg for a moment, come to the side. As you tip into this arm balance, if you're like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen, then don't. But if you want to go there, go there. But wherever you're at, come out, Doesn't have to be graceful. Rise up. Turn and face the left side of your mat. Heel toe the feet together, stand tall. Sometimes you have no idea what you're going to get in class with me, so have fun. It's not about what you can't. Let's go ahead and sit in chair and bring the hands to the heart. So we took twisting chair. Remember, if you're pregnant or protecting the back, you will stay right here. Otherwise, exhale that left elbow to the right. Notice your knees. If your left knee is pulling forward, what does that mean? Your hips have shifted. Bring the knees even, press to open. Here's the fun. Shift into your left heel, pick the right leg up. Floating into warrior one, we rise up. Front knee bent, back leg straight. Pivot the back heel for crescent or high lunge. You're going to probably want to wiggle that foot back to get into twisting prayer. Bring the right elbow to the left thigh. Nice big twist. Release the hands. Sweep into three-legged. Take the left leg up to the sky. Inhale forward, knee to nose. Prepping for warrior lunge. Rise back up. Sweep the left foot past your fingers. Bring the right knee down. So Anjaneyasana, warrior lunge. We're on the other side of the mat, so if you need a moment to come out and go grab your blocks, grab your blocks. Toes are turned under or flat. It's up to you. Keep your hands on the earth or rise up. From this rise up, our hips don't move, but our chest pulls away from our thigh. We can stay here for that support, or we can reach our arms up to the sun. As we release the hands down, kick your right big toe across the mat, straighten the leg and bring the toes up. As you do this, lift. Now, when you tip back, you're reaching for the floor, point the toe, and then stretch the arm away from your leg. Inhale, core power, rise up, and then fold over that left leg in this half monkey variation. So your right foot is still across the mat, but pull your left hip towards your right heel. Rock forward, setting up for Malasana. Heel toe that left foot across the mat. Turn your right toes under, lift the knee, and bring that right foot outside your hands. Now you can come up high, you can come midway onto those forearms, or you can drop your hips down sitting on a block if you want. Chest pulls to the sky, elbows pressed to open the knees. Now as we make our way into boat pose, however you want to get there, if you're all the way up here and you want to heel toe the feet in and slowly guide yourself down, or if you're in Malasana and you can drop your hips, come into boat. From boat, I want you to lay back and press your heels to the sun. Now, if you're pregnant, you're probably going to just want to lean back here, maybe even place your feet down, and you can hover one leg. That'll still work your abs. It's just a different movement than what the rest of us are doing. Those of you that want to do this, you can. Otherwise, stay here or press your hips up and over to go into plow, halasana. Two more breaths here. Balancing on the shoulder blades, not the head or neck. And as you lower down, make your way into plank and give me either plank or a power vinyasa. Lower to crocodile, scoop to up dog, hinge back, hold down dog. Step the left foot to your hands, come into straddle fold. Rise up to the sky. Heel toe the feet underneath your hips, and then bring them all together. All right, so let's prep for that eagle pose with or without lightning bolt. That's the arm balance. So we sit in chair. We peel the right heel. And for some of you, you're just going to step the foot across. That's okay. Others, it's the thigh across. Foot can either be on the floor like a kickstand, hovering, or wrapping. Left elbow under right, hug shoulders or wrap hands. Sit into your heels so your knees stay behind your toes. Some of you will bow forward. Now, those of you that want to go in lightning bolt, you're going to have to unhook the right leg for a moment. Bring the hands down. Shift. Hold on to your body with that left arm, and then re-grab the legs. If you're like, yeah, that's crazy, I'm not doing that, don't. But wherever you're at, make your way down onto the mat. And it was easier for me because I was already there close to the floor anyway. So come on down and grab your blocks. And if you're thinking, wait, there's more, yeah, of course there is. We haven't done our elephant trunk pose, and that's the focus of the month. So let's go ahead and grab those blocks. And if you're like, I'm skipping this one, you're at home, I can't see you, so that's okay. So go ahead and grab those blocks. Those of you that are still with me, here we go. Remember there's that push-up, but it's not flat. It is that suction cup of the fingers, creating a little space like there's a robin egg underneath your palm. Press and come down. Press and come down. Now we go a little deeper. Try and lift the leg and come down. Lift the other leg. Come down. One more time each side. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. When you're ready for the flexibility work, you're going to bend the left knee, hold the foot with your right hand, hold behind the knee with your left. Rock and roll. So just swing that hip open and close. Not moving, just swinging through the joint. Some of you, this is as far as you'll go. Some of you, if you want to work a stretch, you're welcome to come here, lean back, and hold a stretch. For those of you that have the flexibility, you're going to pull the knee back and bring it behind the shoulder. So now we have this leg, it's one leg over arm pose, what it translates to from the Sanskrit, Ekahasta Bhujasana. So now, if you can, you're going to bring the leg over the arm. And you're going to hold that leg up. And you've got to use your core power as well as the strength of your leg to keep that leg up. Either flex the foot or point. And now push off your blocks and lift your bottom. Now either stay here and lift the right leg. Lots of power. But then come on down. Lean back, shake it out. And sometimes we feel that in our wrists, and it can be either building strength in the wrists, or we've just done a lot of work and your wrists are tired, or we stretch it. Stretch back. The different stretches we have, but this month I've been showing you this stretch quite often. All right, we have two legs, so if you're ready for the other one, here we go. Pick up the right leg, hold the foot with your left hand, hold behind the right knee, and just rock that hip open and closed. Now stay here. Some of you may want to go for a stretch here instead because you're trying to work the flexibility of opening your hip. While others have the flexibility, you're going to take your leg behind your shoulder. And notice how the knee, and I'll turn all the way to face away, see how my knee is behind my shoulder? That's what we need to have happen. And then we're trying to take the leg over the arm. So that may work for you, and that may be where you have to stay. And then use your blocks if you need to, but we got to hold the leg up. It's not dropping forward. Hold the belly up and in like it's tucking behind your rib cage, and then lift your body. From here, you can then lift your leg. Ta-da! See what works for you. Then come on down. Release. Move your blocks, and just shake it out. Again, do you need a little more wrist work in order to release that pressure? Well, then if so, just stretch those wrists, right? It's your practice. You know what your body can do today. It's not about the I can'ts. Remember in the beginning of class, and all those emotions we were feeling when we put it towards something positive. The moment we start telling ourselves the negative, we start to bring that energy down, and I want you to keep your energy lifted. So let's go ahead and just sit here and come into this easy seated pose for a moment, but either cross your ankles or cross to the shins. And I want you to see like your heels trying to get underneath your opposite knee. And then gently tip forward. You might need your blocks or block if your elbows don't touch the mat, or maybe your hands. But what I want you to notice is your sit bones. If they're peeling forward, push back into your elbows to send your sit bones onto the mat. But I want you to pull your knees towards the floor. Come on up, change legs. So either you're crossing at the ankles, this is gonna activate the hips, or you're crossing at the mid-shins. Try to bring your heels as close to under your knees as you can. This will make sense in another stretch when we do later. So again, we're gonna tip forward onto our elbows or to our hands, push your sit bones back into the mat. Feel free to let the head and neck relax. If you're real flexible in the hips, you may not be feeling much here. If you're tight in the hips, you may have to move yourself to your ankles instead. And then slowly rise yourself up. From here, what I'd like you to do is send the right leg out. And for some of us, you're gonna stay right here. You're gonna hold this, actually I'm mirroring you, so this is your left leg, my right. And you're gonna take your left hand to your right ankle, and then you're gonna stretch over to the side. But for those of you that want something a little bit more, you're gonna take your foot into this half hero pose. You're gonna rock forward and grab a hold of your right ankle, and then you're gonna sit down and you're gonna reach. Now let me do this with my back too, so those of you that aren't sure how you get to the arm grab. So with my back to you, notice my foot is tucked under, not out to the side. We tip forward, we reach for the ankle, we come down. So the arm is under the leg, and then you stretch to the side. If you're not taking this stretch, remember your knee is up, you're holding the right ankle with the left hand, and you're stretching. Whether you get to that foot or not, it does not matter, but just side stretch. Inhale, rise up. We'll change legs just so it's fresh in your memory. Stick in, left leg in, hold with the right ankle, reach across for those of you that want to go there. Otherwise, half hero. Rock forward, right hand to left ankle. Tip forward, reach. So it's like a pretzel game. Or if you want to think of Twister, right hand, green, left hand, yellow. You're like, what are you talking about? Never mind. So release and rise up. All right, let's go ahead and take the legs into Upavista Konasana, upward angle. So we sit tall, and for those of you that are already buckling here, because this is a lot of pressure, bend the knees, take the hands behind the back, lift the chest up. Stay here or see if you can soften the knees. It is not about tipping forward. Those of you that want to release forward, release forward. See how far it takes you. Stop on your arms, use the blocks, or come all the way out. We're lengthening our back. So notice I'm not diving and rounding. I'm trying to flatten my back, lengthen away from my tailbone. Walk the hands back into the body. Bend the knees, bring them together. Turn in either direction on the mat. We're going to finish with one more pose before we go into Shavasana, and that is our fish pose, and it is the counter to plow. And normally we do it right afterwards, but I wanted to move us along to get to our other arm balances. So sit on your hands. Legs can be out straight or knees are bent. Then slowly lean back onto your elbows. Now, you may be shifting. You're going to pull your heart to the sky. Try to get the top of your head to the floor. So as you tip back, notice how I'm shifting. I'm pulling my chest forward and then tipping. With the bun in my hair, I can't get the top of my head to the mat, and that's okay, but open your shoulders, push into your elbows. Lift your chin to your chest and release all the way down. Take your hands out from underneath and just do a little hug of your legs to the body. Really roll across. And then as your feet release, let your legs go out long. Let your arms return to the earth and close your eyes. Just relax. think back to that one positive thing that I asked you to think of in the beginning of class. And let those emotions or those feelings travel through your entire body as you come back into the rise and fall of your chest. You're welcome to stay here or gently begin to wiggle those fingers and toes, bringing movement into the body. If you'd like, you can reach the arms overhead and stretch long through fingers and toes for a reawakening stretch. And then slowly draw the legs towards the chest. Nice big hug of love and gratitude for your amazing body and all that it does for you. Gently begin to roll the body to one side, using your bottom arm like a pillow. Then press into those hands and slowly come up into a seated pose. Whatever that pose is for you, and then I invite you to bring your hands to the heart. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to share it with me on the mat. I appreciate all your time and your effort. Let's take the sound of Om. Nice big inhale. Om. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, you can always go to my Spotify and use my playlists. I have a bunch of yoga playlists. So feel free to use those if you want music to go along with the class. I don't own the rights to the music, so I can't play it while I'm teaching. But you're more than welcome to head over to my Spotify, find one of my playlists and play it while we're taking the class. So you have some music if you're one. Otherwise, you get all my outdoor sounds. But thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a